RAYNET-UK RAYNET installed 4 November Romeo Charlie operated at 8 Mike Golf Sierra Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net UK weekly utility net. The net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary community net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic news opinions, with further information available on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the control staff or instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are advised and encouraged to check in the net. When you do check in, please announce your call. The following name, if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please leave at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat it I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, please do try again. If you miss, I will call from these trays at the end of the UK and international sections. So, on our bid, check-in to the UK activity net, as always in call. So any stations with figure 838 in their call sign, please call now. This is G4 and RC.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike.
Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform, name is Bob. Good afternoon. No traffic. In and out, please. Good afternoon, Mike. Golf 8 Echo Yankee, stay with me. Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform, got to be in and out. Any other 8s, please? G4 and RC, over. And RC with no more 8, let's have 7s. Station 67 in their call sign, please. G4 and RC, over. G7 on the edge, Golf 7 November, Echo Hotel, left radio. Mike 7 Alpha Oscar. In and out, please, this week. Mike 7 Alpha Oscar. For an RC, Graham Golf 7 November, Echo Hotel, go through the repeater. And Dave might have enough of it, could zoom it out a bit better now. Any other 7s, please? G4 and RC, over.
7 Oscar Tango Hotel. Mike 7 Oscar Tango Hotel.
Seven Oscar Tango. Noon, Dan or Tango, I suspect. Welcome to RAYNET. Okay, let's go to 6. Stations figure 6 in their call sign, please. For an RC, over. Good afternoon, Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo. My name is Chris. In and out, please, Greg. Delta Echo. Doing press, I'll copy you in and out. Any other 6s, please? For an RC, over. For an RC, with the 5, stations figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead. For an RC, over. And 4s, for an RC, calling from the stations figure 4. Please, over.
Golf 4 Kilo India Lima.
Golf 4 Hotel Union Slots, Sunday night. NG4 IUE John. G4 XUR David Somerset. G4RC, right. Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, Phil Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, John Golf 4 Romeo Echo Victor, and David Golf 4 on Romeo. Any of the fours, please? G4 and RC, over. And RC, there's the threes. Station's figure 3 in there, call sign please. G4 and RC, over. And RC, second call for the threes. G4 and RC, over. And RC, that should go down to the twos. Station's figure 2 in there, call sign that gives you intermediate twos. Please call now. G4 over. For an RC, second call for the station's figure 2. Call sign over. For an RC, then it's the ones. Station's figure 1 in there, call sign please go ahead. G4 and RC. RC, second call for the side station's figure 1. Figure 1 in there, call sign please go ahead over. For an RC, demographics and others moved around today, I say. Mike 0 sessions of any regional secretary identifier. Please call now. G4 RC, over. G4 and RC. 20 Mike 0 stations of any regional secretary identifier, over.
Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Alpha, Northern Ireland, Illinois.
Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar. Good afternoon, Philip. I'm coming to in and out. Things not broken here. Then we'll end up with Golf 0 stations of any regional secretary identifier. I'll say over.
Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X. Good afternoon, Greg. My name is Andy. RAYNET Pembrokeshire. In and out, so no traffic. Thank you. Over.
Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray, G4 and RC. Ian Hundy, property in and out. Thanks for tailing the normal call in as usual. Right, any UK stations, any UK sent to call in, please call now. G4 and RC, over. Good night, Foxtrot Sierra, through West Island, in and out, and I'll listen to the end. Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, copy you in and out, Drew, and good afternoon to you. Okay, do we have any international liaison stations on? Any of our international colleagues, Norway, Ireland, Ireland, areas of Slovakia, etc. Any of our overseas friends, G4 and RC. Yankee 4.5C, then any station, national or international. Any final station wishing to call into the RAYNET-UK, please call now, 34.5. 4.5C, okay, that takes us out of the lull that was caused by the UEFA finals. So, today's NEF has been live streamed by Graham, G7LEH, to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7LEH, Golf Tavern, Developer Echo Hotel on YouTube. If you want to log some comments into the chat, and if you want to later, please hit the like button or something that lets Graham know that this is being viewed. I suppose the biggest communication because the computer issues caused by faulty rollouts of an update for CrowdStrike software. Microsoft now estimates 8.5 million machines were affected, but the consequences continue to be felt as fixes, backlogs of tests and aircraft continue to diminish, etc. At an individual level, it's not likely to have affected any RAYNET operators, corporate customers like local authorities and NHS, etc. New routine practices of doing that are probably severely disrupted. So I'm wondering if anybody noticed any of that. Maybe as a side comment, how do we make sure that doesn't happen to us? So, we'll head around the list. Mike Golf, EG4, and I'll see you.
G4 NR D8EY. Personally speaking, I haven't heard anything from NRF, LRS, etc., saying how they've been affected, but yes, I know quite a lot of people found that they couldn't go into supermarkets and pay for anything because cards weren't accepted. And even some establishments who vehemently insisted they would never take suddenly found themselves taking cash because nothing got paid for otherwise. I do like the idea that our firm said, yeah, no problem, you can come back when our tills work. Yeah, nothing otherwise. I've got a 4G outdoor room and run, but then I can only provide a very, very local area. And even then, I'm not sure I'd be able to get into the entire national system. Runs on lithium-ion phosphate batteries and everything. Beyond that, no. You can only carry on insofar as you can, and people are suddenly beginning to realise that things are not less secure when it comes to a small number of people in a small company taking basically the planet down. It does make me wonder. I am going to attend the Emergency Services Time seminar on the ramifications and roundup after the alert in July 2022, which looks to be possibly interesting. And from there, the website run by NASA, which is firms, which is Foxtrot, Romeo Sierra, which is a satellite system looking at hotspots on the planet. And I actually went back and had a look over July 20. Looked at all the areas where we had rather nasty wildfires. So it could be quite a useful. Otherwise, nothing much else for this round from G8EEY.
Oh, Yankee C4.5C. Okay, slide 18 news items because I knew another one was going to crop up. Yeah, interesting. My of weather very much depends on what you're used to locally. So the rain earlier on in the week, etc. Of course, just around, and then the heat caused power supply for my SDR to trip off. Yeah, once the temperature dropped, everything got happy again. I was at some meetings myself. This consideration was being given to what was the maximum temperature we should be expecting things to work at. Degrees, but should we now be saying 45? And beginning of the week, I was in an IARU meeting where I was hearing that 45 was the norm and 50 was a warm day. It is what you make of it. Well, 4G router will work fine to bridge across into other networks and make wider meshes, etc. So, yes, it's something that I'm told to the public network for any private data you might set up. I'm looking at the second travel router I have here. To step and then chain 2 of the space and the other one to roll out nodes. Right, thanks. Next to Graham, who I spotted in the wild at work going for afternoon. I was going to look at him, so now I know where you live. G7NEH, G4NRC, over. G4NRC, G7NEH, yeah. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. And the APRS station running, I guess you had your DGPs on earlier on. I'm assuming you've turned it off now. I'm not. Okay, so last week's views on the net were 41 views and 2 likes, and the YouTube channel's gained another 3 subscribers, so up to 156 now. So thank you to all those that have subscribed. Please feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, so in other news, I've just this afternoon taken delivery of an eco-whip weather station. It's up and running and integrated into to Home Assistant. So that's what I've been doing today. Apart from that, not a lot else to add with radio at all, really. The past few weeks. So back to you, G4NRC, G7NEH. G7NEH, G4NRC returning. Okay, that is a good increase in views and subscribers and so on. Me for radio, it's been probably about halfway down the list of stuff I was going to be doing this weekend. So people that are repeating requests will be getting those filled later on this evening. We have a different toy though, which I haven't had time to play with yet, but the micro-inverter that sits on top of my solar battery, that's the right phrase for it, came back into UK. So I now have an 800 watt inverter that will backfeed into the grid legitimately. Not put it all together yet to see how it plays, but I want to see how this one is RF noise versus the inverter within the solar battery itself, because that is just horrible. I was thinking of using it for HF backup, fire a power supply at full steam. There's no way to do that amount of noise that then creates. So that's happening. But hopefully the 800 watt one is the base and we'll see if it behaves better. Yeah, I'll catch up with you about the weather stations, but mine is very much non-functional now. Not likely to come back at it. Caller, where you are, darling? Mike 7, Oscar Tango Hotel, G4NRC, over.
Mike 7, Oscar Tango Hotel, yeah, person here. And I'm very excited you should bring me into the net this afternoon. First time listening and getting involved. Not much to report in the way of anything to do with quite DMR, actually had DMR radio now for about 4 or 5 days, and was licensed in April. Much and not last back from M7OPH.
Gee. Okay, that might not have been all your fault then. Okay, Daniel, copied most of that, and I was at about 50%. You did have a couple of dropouts, but since the system something must be going on in Brandmeister or RAYNET-UK server mode. So if you just manage to get this for 4 or 5 days, and I can see you down in Rochester according to the location of the DMR servers. I'll see if the system improves next time around. Bit too close, sometimes it can be a bit too close to the hotspot, which can cause mischief. As making the assumption you're doing that, not coming in. So I can't see from the RAYNET side, I just see you through Brandmeister. Right, Philip, Golf 4, Kilo India Lima, G4, and I'll see you.
G4 and I'll see 4 KIL, thanks for running that in, and that's great. Well, going to be sad. I think the IT problems, certainly our local supermarket, they complained only to put the PIN number in. So that was that one. Sorry, I didn't make the 8. I didn't even manage to listen to it in the end. Clash with something else last minute, so hopefully they did better we can say month. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, I think that's it from me for this time round, so I won't hold it back to you. For KIL.
For KIL, G4, and I'll see you returning. Okay, yes, HFNet seems to be very local, almost as I feared, low light reflections getting so Dorset to Oxfordshire, etc. fine, but a bit of a gap getting up to Cheshire to myself and Mike M1DVN is one-way or no-way propagations. We were, however, also heard in Ireland, so that works well. It reminded me of the credit card about fallback methods. Somebody apparently found a box of paper credit card slips in the old machine to try and run taking payments, and somebody had to break it to that they don't seemingly accept those anymore. So yeah, they thought they were suffering the lines on one system, and no way back is interesting to watch. Phil, I did raise a comment about the frequent asked questions for a member on Monday. Didn't get much back by way of anything back, so I'm having to get my crayon out, Phil, and see if I can switch anything around and be very helpful. G4 HUF, G4 and I'll see you.
G4 HUF on Foxtrot. Hey, thanks a lot, Greg. Well, I'll be honest with you, that was the prime reason for being on the net this afternoon. With the query about whether anybody was affected by the outages on Friday, I can definitely stake that claim. I went for a test at Halting in general, and they couldn't access records to identify what tests I need. In the end, we got around it by me advising them that he was diabetes test that I was there for. I said, fair enough, we can do the basic one, but if they wanted any other chemistries, you may well have to. It's a 50-50 chance as to whether or not that particular visit is going to be repeated. So that was my excitement on Friday morning. And of course, with it being a test, it was a case of breakfast had to wait a little while longer while they got that particular aspect of it sorted out. I think at that time, my cooked breakfast, even more under the circumstances, waiting around a bit longer for it. So that was my thanks for the inquiry. It's appreciated that the quality up the chain and back down again, and it is not an issue if nobody else is doing it, but it just seemed like a logical thing. Anyway, not to worry. Back to you. This is Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot.
G4 HUF, G4 and RC returning. Yeah, I found it odd that right stable rich companies will pay for this kind of software and poorer ones will. I was disappointed because I got into work reading the news item hoping I'd get the blue screen of death, and I didn't. So I know we don't pay for something different. But it was the effect on TV channels. But most of the BBC fleet stayed up except CBeebies. One channel was rather dependent on, I found rather odd. However, yeah, we'll get back to you on the FAQ as fast as we can, and the blood tests were up. Was still working, so a bit of a here and there. Okay, two to go on this round. John, have you run over to G4 and RC open? Thank you for REA.
Everybody else on the net. Not an awful lot to report this end. Made on the event drawing. And nice and cool. It's been awfully hot this afternoon here. So everybody else is finding. As like, thankfully no effects. Although noted an increase in traffic attacking our website. Interesting. It's basically a sensor, not doing any harm, but not really what's expected. As the code strike, absolutely not impacted and thankful on Microsoft systems. With that, back to you. Keep on leaving.
G4 REV, G4 and RC. The other public service announcements that I need to make. In the aftermath of the event, one Happy Little Hacker group has registered 100 domains, I think it was, with CrowdStrike in them somewhere. Presumably they're going to offer means that, but trust me, they're not going to be helpful. So there's an increase in spam relating to this kicking around for quite a while. And the game of whack-a-mole that gets played by the authorities is just indeed it's just getting harder. So yeah, and increasing traffic at mine now tends to run fail to ban, which means if anybody knocks on the door twice too quickly, then they do get frozen out and come back at a slightly better rate. So have a look at that. I haven't seen that happening quite so much. Because we can't be smug, it isn't just Windows system. Equivalent security stairs and glitches hitting many other fine operating systems, which is making me look at the log sheets on my screen in front of me, which occasionally somebody looks at the logging and do it remotely, thinking which I still have log sheets again, just in case. The final one on this round, it's David Golf 4 X-Ray Uniform Radio, G4 and RC. Golf 4 X-Ray Uniform Radio, G4 and RC. for NRC, nothing heard from him. Right, back to the top of the list here. Today more thoughts from anybody. Being at work, I couldn't test whether some of the diameter systems had stayed up or not through the IT issues. Still rather focused on Arden network and putting some services on it. It's just like most things, it's more confusing than actually playing radio, but I'm sure it'll be worth it in the end. Hey, how are you in Keys? Or else,
G4NRC from D8EY. Yes, well, it's interesting times. I must admit, I didn't try to buy anything by credit card, so I probably wouldn't have known. As for Steve, well, I must admit I've been out of the loop for quite a few years now, but certainly all terrestrial TV, if that was the way you were looking at it, goes via Sky, main control. Thing goes there, even because they basically, that's where they get their feeds to. Right. And I do know that Sky had problems. Certainly some funny things going on. So it may not have been the deed, it may well have been Sky, but I don't find out if I could be bothered. So yes, nothing else from me, but thanks for running the network. And as long as the weather stays comfortable like this, I don't mind. I don't like it too hot though. I don't react well to the sun. In fact, I try not. Just kidding. From G8EY.
Yankee G4NRC, well, other BBC channels were working terrestrial, so it was just one out of the fleet. Which was the other UK channel, along with Australian counterparts of different ownership, who went off the air. It was within our normal remit. So, yeah, it's nothing strange, but I'm state for TV distribution is a lot more complicated than it used to be. With, for example, all the so-called local channels on Channel 8 or 7, all coming out of one playout centre somewhere in the Midlands. Last time I checked. Yeah, we do sleepwalk into some of these things. Okay, thanks, Mike. Talk to you next week. No, I did not have my API station running, so you probably had some fluky propagation for a while if you were being detected somewhere. I will be getting it back on air, but with a page full of stuff to do, it's not getting high enough up there yet. But we'll have a 5-watt digi on all the time from here real soon, I hope. Oh yes, the 6-metre net last night for West Cheshire was a little bit one-way communications. Again, what we were able to come from Chester down to Richard and back up to Mike DDN on the Macclesfield portable. So it was a bit one-way again. G798, G4 and RCO.
G4 LRC G78. Yeah, okay, great. Almost done that. Yeah, I just took it last night. Yeah, okay, on the APRS, that's interesting. It was pinging quite a bit when I first put it on, so I must have picked some of it up, obviously. Looking forward to you getting a permanent GG up there. Right, okay, so this week we've got a total, and there's 2 concurrently viewing, and Cat, Greg and Drew says, can you call him in, because he's got some information to pass on. And that's it. Thanks for doing the net, of course. G4NRC to Eastern LH. G798, G4NRC.
Right, not a problem. I will call Drew in after how Daniel might have lost his Tango Hotel, and I hope that his station is up and flying, and wondering what your interesting rate is, Daniel, because I don't see you on the ship relatively new. Mike 7 Oscar Tango Hotel, G4, and I'll see you over.
G4 NRC, Mike 7 Oscar Tango Hotel. You have been receiving me a little bit better. I think it was a setting that I hadn't quite tweaked correctly. I'm coming GP7IK. RAYNET, well, it was something that I came across the read and then noticed that your net came up. So I must admit my sort of ignorance of all related to RAYNET, but I will be reading more about it and getting a little bit more what it's there for. So thank you very much for running the net and inviting me. I'll continue listening to the end. M7 OTH.
Mike 7 Oscar Tango Hotel, P4RC. No, just call in sometimes. Mostly RAYNET-UK operators. We do get overseas colleagues joining us from time to time, just because DMR is quite useful over borders, in peacetime at least, looking for a phrase. And certainly more reliable than HF seems to be today for a RAYNET HF net that takes place weekly. We find as you're reaching down the net. Anyway, that was a 100% over, no problem at all. And yeah, we'll from you in future weeks. So out of sequence, since he's got traffic, Drew, Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot 0, would like to go ahead, G4, and I'll see you over. G4 and I'll see M0 MSX. Yeah, I wasn't really going to come in today because I've been quite tied up, but I thought I had some information that you might be interested in. The issue with the Microsoft Azure platform was limited to the US sites. So I've got a significant number of customers that are government and they have a deal that limits them to only be hosted in the UK sites. Survived reasonably unscathed. So the problem never propagated into the UK sites. The UK sites probably took a bit of a hit performance-wise during the outage because I'm guessing some minority were probably migrated to the UK data centres. But it is interesting, they managed to stop propagating. The fact that it hit Australia, I don't know whether the Australia has their own, or whether they use the US one, so I can't explain that one. But it did have significant impact across the industry. We lost some norms during the outage, and I myself had a tank full of diesel I couldn't pay for in the petrol station and was forced to draw past one of their extortionary charges in order to pay cash in order to pay the station, because obviously the diesel was in my tank and they wanted me to wait until the system came back online, which looked like it would have involved me. Yeah, I just thought I'd add a few comments from M0. Sierra G4 NLC. No, that's all very useful insight, Drew. Thanks a lot. I have seen how some countries were hit hard than others. The website I was reading was why some were not affected as much, e.g. China, and it's because they've been taking quite an effort to divorce themselves from some of these systems and not had any impacts like that. So I did wonder whether timing was an issue, remembering all the way back to the 31st of December 1999, where there was a great deal of interest in what happened with the planet as they rolled into midnight, because it gave a lot of us 12 hours notice if anything was going to go naughty with the Millennium rollover. However, systems returning about the US sites. I've read somewhere Microsoft were now no longer warranting that their sites were stored where they said it was going to be. So if you did say you wanted to be in the UK, for example, right to hook you off into another country, which brings in all sorts of other data governance issues. Right, thanks for coming back in even though you're wearing it out. Right, we'll finish off with the three I've got left. That's Philip, Golf Hawking, and I'll see you.
And I'll see you for it's all very interesting. I know we're contributors to this time, so thanks for that, Craig. Now, hopefully, next week, I'll just see the internet and otherwise clear. Chief for NRC, Chief for KIL.
G4 KIL, G4 NRC, bringing the Brandmeister people with me. Right, okay. Yeah, I'm hoping for slightly more successful HS next week. Beta modes, and we can take advantage of all those lovely dBs of signal to noise without having to worry about my voice, and get that going. Fine, but next to Phil for any final stop. And I'll see you.
Is A4HUF? No, nothing more exciting from me. The Friday saga was the highlight of my week, and that's about it. So progress on the house, but you didn't want to know about that, so I'll shut up. Thanks for running the net, Greg. 70 on the net, and we'll catch you next time. This is G4HUF. Clear.
QF, G4 and RC. Okay, Phil, one thing I did think I was going to recall seeing in your FAQ, but let's release this. For your FAQ for new members in your group, so I was just wondering whether it was worth dropping in. Good illustration nets. Not that I seek to supplant anything across the whole county, but since we are roaming around 4, 2 and the PRS, it'll just be interesting if your guys want to know, or newer guys want to know, those frequencies for testing in the county if they want to. But yeah, we'll patch with that as we go, and at least the house is progressing in a full direction. My neighbour still seems to have a bigger than expected slip of rubble, and everybody visiting it yesterday, so hopefully he didn't have a unkindly wall. I'll sure find out in due course. Yes, in terms of cover the 60-second time. John, go for Romeo FA. Chief for an RC. Yeah, another drop out of some. It's not thinking. I'll see you, John. How warm was it on your event? It's G4 REV, G4 an RC, over. Yeah, G4 REV.
Pleasant. Sponsored walk. Not too sure that this is miles. The walk was started off as a unfortunately closed local hostelry. Off to another one now. Walking back again and around what's called the line pits around here, called quarry basically. Back to where they started from. Weather-wise, I was very comfortable. I was in the shade, sitting by the side of the canal, just watching the waters and watching life. And very, very relaxing. It's where I am now. I'm currently sitting in about 26 degrees. I'm obviously indoors.
but it's all hot, sticky, and uncomfortable. There you go. The last event of the year, apart from the one just before Christmas. November the 11th, or thereabouts, in December the 1st. So, quite quiet. Comments on the domains, that's no surprise. We're going to see an awful lot of spam increasing. But it did give comment, didn't you? Cloud companies, one called CloudMart, who are causing various degrees of mayhem in the email scene. Some of the lesser are using them for spam filtering, and they are blocking entire autonomous systems. The one is about 900,000 IP addresses. Taking the whole ISP out because of 0.01% of a bit naughty. Yeah, and put it back to the ISP to try and sort it out. The only final thing is that having had an awful lot of investigations into the DMR, now moving to APRS. Like yourself, a very small APRS transceiver that we can dump somewhere, possibly if it's get lost, dropped in a canal or whatever. But everything I'm finding so far, £300, which is brilliant. Right, messages. With that, I will say thank you for running the net. I'll listen around until the net closes, but other than that, nothing else to it. Roger me, Greg.
G4REV, G4RC return. Yeah, small APRS transceivers, virtually matchbox size, but you're right, they're way up in the £300/euro bracket. I'm thinking, or you can find people who have rolled their own using the 818 analog radio modules, which give on route, but you then put another inside them, so it's €10 for an SA818 and another 10 to 15 for an Arduino, and then something for a GPS chip, and I suppose if you start having the prices up, I guess from 50 to 70, I suppose, worst case. Putting it all together, there's definitely a mark there for somebody to make something in the autonomous line. Other than that, you are the Bluetooth interfaces that you can run something like APRS Droid from your phone through a port in the other option of going forward. But yes, I'm just interested in getting a network back up again, which would be useful. And sympathise, I was out doing a little bit of housework. It was warm, to the point of making me think I need to go and find a hat. So I used to have to think that, but okay, we shall start bringing that towards a close. We'll just see if David, for X-ray Uniform Romeo, is back with us. If not, I'll head towards closing. G4XUR,
G4NRC, G4XUR. Are you receiving now?
G4XUR, yes, over.
G4XUR returning. Yeah, apologies. I did reply, but obviously I wasn't getting in for some reason. I should say when I logged in that was the bit that I forgot. So apologies. Thank you very much for running the net. G4XUR.
Try again, G4XUR, G4NRC. Okay, not a problem. Twice, nothing came back. I'll only see you on Brandmeister server, even how you come to us. So, yeah, nothing further. So, go to whatever repeat hotspot you were using. Right, thanks very much. I can close the net with a clear conscience. So, thanks everybody for taking time out of your schedule to participate today. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at local time, I will now close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on swap groups 235. some Brandmeister and 50235331 on the RAYNET-UK server, and return those to our groups rather than a directed net. Sample result, this is call 4 November, Romeo Charlie now closing, and reverting to my normal call sign, call 0, call 2 uniform.